See you. Peace, YouTube. This is FleurBrun coming to you today. Peace to the east, the west, north, and the south. Peace, everyone. Check on in. I think you can see me. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm getting intel as we talk. Okay. So, hey, everyone. I'm coming in today. I'm not gonna stay that long. I just wanted to do a PoleShift update. Excited. You're here with your Starbucks? Cheers. Wait, hold on. I have to give it, hold on. Hyping you I, ni hao, hyping you I. It means hello and peace and love. So, ni hao, hyping you I. I learned some Mandarin, so peace. Let me take a sip for my haters. Hold on, give me a minute. Let me take a sip for my haters. These are for all the haters who come on here who hate me drinking Starbucks. Hold on, this is for you. I'm so antagonistic. Anyway, peace, east, west, north, and south. So let's get into Oh, I love it. So it's hyping. Wait, ni hao, hyping you I. I almost sound. It sounds Hebrew, right? Hyping you I. I'm learning Mandarin, so just be patient with me because you're the country that we thought was nice next to America isn't. But that's part of the PoleShift. So let's get into the topic of the PoleShift. I don't like how the camera is. Hold on. There we go. Sometimes the camera's okay. There we go. It's a little better, right? Okay. You've got mandarin oranges. Don't get me started. Hey Yafi. Hey Asta. All right. So let's get into the conversation about the PoleShift. This is just an update of the PoleShift. We have the ongoing PoleShift on and popping. Hey Kay. We in China. I'm starting to itch this morning already. Yeah, so we're going to discuss the full-on PoleShift that's on and popping right now. Salut, comment ça va? Bonjour. Are you on the train? No, I'm in the car. I'm in my truck. I'm chilling in my truck drinking my coffee. This is how I get down on Thursday. Blissful Jupiter day. It's my special day, Jupiter day. For all you Sages, this is our special day. Thursdays are our day. There's a lot going on with the PoleShift, and I know many people are asking me questions. And sometimes I want to reply to your emails, but it's just too much. And FleurBrun is very lazy as far as writing back emails. I try to respond to everyone, but it's very Thursday, right? I try to respond, but it's a little hard to respond to everybody's emails. So what I do is I get a general consensus of what you desire to hear. Rohan's giving me some intel. Rohan, I wish I could, I'm a little hood. I need to get updated with my my thing so I can bring you guys on here. I'll be I'm gonna get my thing updated. My mate is better at this than me, so I have to get so I can pull you in like Instagram. I'm just not good at it. I did it with something else. I gotta get something to bring you in, okay? The birds are weaponizing the flu. Rohan is going in. Rohan, I see you giving me the intel. Rohan is giving me detail. Okay, so let's get into the PoleShift. It's 2020. The PoleShift is on and popping. We're speeding up towards that pinnacle point. Either you're going to drop it like it's hot or you're going to keep rising to the top. Okay, so either way. I'm so corny. We got a lot of things going on. So let's start with the new earthquakes. We just had another earthquake under a volcano in Alaska at the border. It's at the border of Russia. So there was I think it was 6.3, 6.5, sometime early this morning, or it was late last night. So we had a full-on earthquake going on and shaking up Alaska. Then we had Tennessee, an earthquake in Tennessee. I think it was 5.2. We have, obviously, Puerto Rico's been jiggling and wiggling for over 2 weeks now. So they still have some slight tremors. We've had, I think in Was it Wisconsin? Oh, I'm getting, everyone's texting me. Hey, Narda. Everyone's texting me at the same time. Okay, so we're having several different earthquakes happening. You have to understand that, yes, the government with Willy Wonka, Willy Wonka is responsible for Puerto Rico. Okay, Puerto Rico isn't natural, and this isn't part of the pole shift, but it's relative to the pole shift because when they're shaking and shimmering and messing with the actual fault lines, it's going to trigger for that dormant underground super volcano that's under most of their fracking, under most of the Caribbean islands to start to awaken. Okay. Philippines, as you know, they had their volcano that awoke last week. You know that the Shinwa. Thank you, N Golden. What's the best brand of colloidal silver to ingest? What is it called? North. You caught me off a little bit. The one I have in the fridge. I'll get that back to you, N Golden. It's called North something, I think. North something. I have it in my fridge. I store mine in my fridge. I'll give it to you when we're done. I'm sorry about that. Hey Darius. I gotta keep concentrated. I gotta keep concentration. I get thrown off a little bit when I'm going in. Okay, so we have the Caribbean islands, which you know, we have a super volcano underneath. We have in the Philippines, the volcano's already erupted and it's on and popping there. You do know that in the Shinwa are off. They've already kicked off their. This is intel that I had before, but I can say it now because more people are saying it out loud. You know, sometimes there's certain things I won't say because I know. But the Shinwa have already disseminated their agenda to lower their populace. So they actually. Bioengineered, you know, we talked about this, bioengineered a biovirus and disseminated it amongst their populace to downsize their population. Hey, Pavel. So they've already started their agenda to lower their numbers of people. They're trying to, you know, all this is depopulation. So they're already depopulating. We have 3 cities. Big up to Pavel, who gave us information already. Rohan, who gave us information. Hey, Rohan, I'm reading your comments now as we were live. And 3 cities are already quarantined and closed down. It's now up to 17 deaths that have occurred. I personally think whenever they give us a number, it's usually I would double it. So whenever they disseminate numbers of how many people are infected, how many people have something, I want you to know that it's always double the number. So if they say it's 17, then it's probably, you know, 44, okay? So just know it's most likely doubled rather than what you think. I mean 34, it's probably 34. So they've closed down the cities. You know that it's the Lunar New Year's for Shinwa. And because of that, there's a lot of travelers. It's already shown up in Russia, in the Philippines, in Thailand, in Atlanta, in Seattle, Washington, in Brazil, in Chicago, in where else? Australia. There's a couple places where the coronavirus has already shown up. So pole shift worthy conversation, because part of the pole shift is the Willy Wonka and his League of Doom disseminating their agendas to make sure they depopulate the surface of the planet, because once we get to closer to actual flip mode of the planet, when we go into slowing of the rotational field, once it slows down, we will get off of our axis and then we will flip, and then we'll go back in the inverted direction. Once they want to make sure that they have the surface as clear as possible. So as we see, the Shinwa have already disseminated their depopulation. You also know, for those who are up on what happened in Virginia when they were protesting about the Second Amendment, you do know that a bill was passed the day after they protested, and they signed a bill under. See, this is why I'm saying Willy Wonka is slick. I told you they were going to do what they were going to do. Willy Wonka passed the bill the day after the protests of the Second Amendment, of being, Second Amendment being challenged, and they signed a bill that day, the day after. Please look it up. It has to do with the Willy Wonka is allowed to take your arms if they feel you're a threat. They can search your house for any sort of arms. They can institute a martial law or curfews if they feel like you are up to terrorist activities. I got to get the number. I'm giving this off the rip right now, but they passed the bill right after. Thank you. And Golden, can you tell how to remove metals from body and children? Chelation. You have to do a basic chelation. There's a way to chelate. So you have to, in order to, thank you for the donation. You have to, great thing to do is chlorophyll, a form of, there's actually a chelation. It's like an actual, it's an actual herbal remedy. It's for chelation, and it helps to pull all the metals out of you, along with adding a little bit of charcoal. It's, occasionally, like for about a week, 7 days, no longer than that, because you don't want to mess with the homeostasis of your stomach. You want to make sure you're keeping your stomach up to par. Okay, so too much charcoal will cause the flux in your stomach to kind of get depleted. You want to make sure your stomach is nice and clear. But you definitely need to do a chelation, safe chelation. There's an herbal remedy. Again, these are things I normally have when I'm in the house. I can give you names. And what is it called? I just recommended to a mother. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Like I said, you just do a slight chelation. For children, you have to be a little careful, because herbs, I don't suggest doing many herbs for children, just because they're so, a lot of times it depends on the age. If they're 13 and up, you might get away with doing a basic chelation, but for little ones, you have to do it very slight. Also doing a baby on a brain. What's it called? Oh, castor oil. Castor oil. Do castor oil on the neck, on the hair. Castor oil is one of those things that kind of expands your cells, but also helps to clear. So doing castor oil packs on your body also help. Doing a form of chelation is also claying. I always talk about claying, making sure that you cover the body from head to toe, using something like bentonite clay or a green clay, or using a clay mixture with charcoal, and adding a little bit of apple cider vinegar. I never use water when I clay, and putting it all over your body, sitting out in the sun and pulling. Okay, that helps to pull out metals as well. So, and also adding a little bentonite clay in your water. Sometimes drinking it also helps. That also helps. So you want to make sure you do a combination platter, but the little ones, you have to be very careful. Their bodies are still growing. That you don't want to mess with their antibodies. You don't want to trigger any sort of autoimmune responses, because if you start doing herbals for children too young, you may have you may trigger autoimmune issues. And yes, castor oil you can ingest. For mommies who have babies, remember, castor oil helps babies to go to the bathroom. If you're constipated, you put it on the baby's tummy, and you on your tummy, and you can go to the bathroom. Castor oil is an old remedy that most old school parents used to use. I think Caribbean people still use it to this day. Castor oil, make sure it's hexane free and it's cold pressed. Okay, that's more important than anything else. All right. So I want to stay on topic and golden. You gotta, if these are questions you want to know, because it kind of throws me off when I'm talking about the PoleShift, and I have to stay on topic, and then I go off sidebar because I want to stay focused, and it's hard for me to do it if I'm going off. So no worries. You already know my mind is already all over, so it's hard for me to stay focused. Okay. So I think I went over. Okay. So we have Shinwa. Hey, Narda. Hey, Jose. Oh, all the family's coming on. Hey, Love Natural. So we have the Shinwa who are closing down. They're already doing their agenda. They've already decided to disseminate their depopulation agenda. I figured out that that's what they're doing with their own people. It's also mutating. This virus is also mutating. So it's starting to show up, and it showed up in several different areas. But I personally know now that it is for the depopulation of the people trying to clear out their country. Also the bill, that's what was going on. The bill that was passed, can someone find it out? Can someone actually get the bill number that was passed in Virginia the day after they protested for holding arms, saying that Willy Wonka and his League of Doom can actually take your arms if they feel you're a threat. The sheriff can actually do a search. It's very detailed, and it was slick. They did this under the guise of knowing that smoke. You see how they do it? They had the protest. They were saying they were inciting people, saying it was going to be terrible, saying it was all racially and species related. And meanwhile, it was a peaceful protest. Everybody got along. There were many people of different nationalities, different complexions, and in Virginia. And they basically were doing that to incite people. And it didn't work, but they did utilize that as a smokescreen to pull in a secret bill that they signed the day after. So that's been done. Texas, let me give a warning for those mothers. We also have one of our Sea Stars who illuminated something to me yesterday, and this is very disgusting. The schools, because of this quote-unquote flu season right now, have decided to spray. It's called a fog. Spray inside the schools. One of the Sea Stars, her child went to school after the 3-day weekend, and 7 of the children were sent home sick because they sprayed this aerial spray inside of the school, quote unquote, saying it was for the flu. That's what they said, saying it was for the flu. And meanwhile, the children were 7 were sent home because they got so terribly sick. They sprayed it on a Monday, and children returned to school on Tuesday. So do know, mothers, if you have children in school, this is something they're supposed to notify you of, and they're supposed to tell you. And also, they aren't supposed to spray anything in the school the day before. They usually do these things. If there's holidays, they usually do it. Oh, thank you. Raditz got the House Bill. House Bill 4007. That's a House Bill that they signed the day after the protest, which was on Monday, on MK Ultra Day, which is Martin Luther King's birthday on Monday. Okay, so they signed it on Tuesday. Thank you for getting the bill number. So if you want to look up the bill, if you're in that area of Virginia, please look it up, and it will affect you. But for everybody else, you should look up the bill as well, because it will affect everyone who are carriers. Okay. So yes, one of our Sea Stars was talking about them fogging the schools. So for mothers, fathers, uncles, grandmothers, abuelas, please make sure that you are notified and that you inquire that this isn't done. They're supposed to spray in the school. If they do that, they're not supposed to do that because a lot of children are sensitive, but they're supposed to do it over the weekend. They did it the day before, and it makes me think, and this was done in Texas, okay? So remember, Texas was a red flag. So this was done in Texas, and it was done at an elementary school, and 7 of the children got very, very sick. So mothers, be vigilant. Check your school. These are things they're supposed to notify parents if they do anything like that. She held her little one home today, thank goodness. But be up on stuff, please, because we don't know what they're spraying in the school, and it could be some sort of agent to be a catalyst for them to get sick. We also have a couple people in our family who have family members that have died from this genetically homogenized flu that's out here, already here. So we had a 34, I'm sorry, rest in power to the young lady whose cousin died. She was 34. She got what you consider to be a normal flu, and she passed away. She was healthy prior to getting it, and she passed away. There's 3 more people who have family members who have passed away from the flu. Many of our family members have already gotten sick and having some of the symptoms of the flu, genetically homogenized flu. Okay, so we know that by getting the vaccination, you automatically will get a lot of the symptoms. And I literally know that you're probably, this is my opinion, you're walking around basically disseminating the virus that they've made you, now they made you a walking agent, a bio agent, and you're infecting people, and you're also getting yourself sick. Okay, so be very vigilant out there. So we have that. We have the hailstorm that was noted in Australia. We know that they're bioengineering the weather now because I guess they cleared off the land for their smart cities in Australia. Big up to our family in Australia. Is Asta? Asta's on here. Hey, purple goddess. Purple goddess. Asta. You saw the hailstorm. Where were you in location to the hailstorm that was in? That was in. You're from Australia too, Sarah. Were you guys in close proximity to the hailstorm that they had? What was it, yesterday? The hailstorm that they had. Well, we got word that, well, you know, they always say that we're conspirators. Okay, so it is what it is. Dust storms. Oh yeah, dust storms. They were saying that they're obviously geoengineering the weather because they cleared off enough land that they can utilize the land that they cleared off for smart cities. So all of it, oh, it's dust storms? Okay, it was a dust storm. So now we see that that whole, because they had somebody had a video up of like these huge pieces of ice. It looked like ice dropping to the floor in Australia just after all these fires. So it looks like they got what they wanted, and now they brought the rain afterwards, after they cleared the land to create cities that they're going to utilize as the base of what in the future will end up being smart cities that will control the arenas. Okay. Okay, so we talked about that. So we have, for those living in certain arenas, like anyone living, hold on. It's like a hot spot over here. Hold on. I think it's like the middle of the day. What am I doing? I'm being nosy. Oh snap, we got the Russians in the house. Just as I'm doing it, Toby, listen. We got the Chinois, the Russians are here. The Russians are coming. The Russians. Big up to everyone from Russia. Woo! Oh, let me be quiet. I'm loud. Anyway, so Australia looks like they've done their clearing. It's disgusting. Your Willy Wonka is just as diabolical as our Willy Wonka. They're all the League of Doom. They've already disseminated their toxic bio-weapon weather, and now they're trying to clear up so they can clear up everything. Okay, so we have that. There was something else that was financially. I'm going to try to get through this PoleShift thing. I'm trying to disseminate it properly, so I'm staying on task. The PoleShift. Okay, so we have the, oh no, let me go into financial. Financially, there is an undercurrent of whispers. Let me state this. It's an undercurrent of whispers. You know, I know some of the money makers. Big up to all the, I know some of the stushies, bushies. I know the money makers in this world, and there's a little bit of a buzz going undercurrent. So family, I don't know who's into Bitcoin, Litecoins, cryptocurrency. Be careful. There's a little bit of something going on having to do with the pigs and a bio company. What's the name of the company? What's the name of the company? You know, I wish I write these things down. My memory's not quite the way it used to be. There's a company that's associated with this. And this company is going to be your sign. What is it called? I'll put it in my either my community, or I'll put it in my IG. I'm trying to, in my mind, I had it earlier. Hold on. You guys want to hold on? Let me look for it. Hold on. I want to have it for you. Hold on 1 second, okay? Okay, it's called Van Neck Biotech, okay? Van Neck Biotech, okay? When apparently this is going to be your trigger. I don't know how, now this is an undercurrent. I haven't vetted everything out. You know, I just hear whispers. So for all our money makers out there, those, hey, Joko Moko, haven't seen you in a bit, love. Missed you. This is some sort of sign to the others. And like I said, I don't know how it will show up, but this particular, wait, let me give you the name again. Hold on. Hold on. I got to go look at it. Hold on. Vaneck, Vaneck, Vectors, Vectors, Biotech. God, they just cut me off. Oh, family, this is a good sign. They just cut me off my live. They just threw me off. I won't say it again. I'm not going to spell it again. Whoever got it, thank you. They just shut my live off, and I was scared it was going to come on. That must mean I'm on to something, family. This is interesting. As soon as I said it, it shut off. Write it down. I won't say it again. I never know. Sometimes I'm just, sometimes I'm poking a little bit. I'm like poke. And sometimes, thank you, Shonda. Thank you, Purple Goddess. I just poke a little bit. And sometimes, I'm good at, why are you doing, they're always doing the lawn here in Florida. They're like kicking up the bioviruses. So all the chemtrails in the grass, all the metals. Oh, God. Okay, you didn't hear it? Look inside and Golden, just look. They're writing it in here. They're writing it all in here. Okay, just make sure. Yeah, but just whatever that was, I told you, because I heard whispers. And whenever I hear whispers, I'm very good at that. I don't know sometimes what it is. It's almost like I'm looking around and I'm feeling around and I may feel something and I can't really tell what it is. That's going to trigger something. So when you see that either dip or spike, that's a sign something's going, the collapse is near. That's all I know. Okay? So remember that. Please put a like on the video if you're in. Hold on. They're pissing me off. I'm one of those people. I love quiet. Like I don't need it to always be manic. Our neighbors are fanatics. You ever seen the neighbors that are fanatic about doing their grass and everything? They're just fanatical. Let me calm down. Okay, so pay attention to that, all you crypto, like crypto, Litecoin, Bitcoin people. For some reason, that was the undercurrent for my financial sector. So I know when there's smoke, there's fire. So when you see that, dipping, watch that one because it's connected to the 144. And what's his name? Montauk. I was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Intel is no joke. I couldn't sleep. And then I finally went to sleep. It's a stock. I finally went to sleep, and Montauk, what's his name? I've been watching him for years. I'm going to put his name down. He's a decoder. He was still decoding the movie Contagion. He saw on the phone, if you guys have, oh God. They're doing this to piss me off. I swear they're doing this to piss me off. Maybe it's not that personal. Hold on. It's one of those days I don't like. FleurBrun is I love quiet and I love sunshine. Hold on, let them just finish a little bit because I'm agitated when they're doing this. Now I'm doing an USA. Let me just take a moment. Okay. Please put a like on the video. While you're here, please put a like on the video if you like the intel. Because again, if I know you like it, I keep it up. If I know you don't, I pull it off. So putting a like lets me know that it's content that you want to listen to. When you don't like it as much, I just leave it and pull it off and put it in another, and put it in my private. Okay. USA, I should rub my ears. USA. Okay, I'm calm. I know. All right, I'm calmed down. Okay. You're watching from two devices, and I'm glitching out. Okay. Cash is trash. It's relative until it isn't working. Try not to damn cash, because if you do that, you may block it. Abundance has a way that when you do things like that, it'll block it from you if you judge it. Know that it's just one form of abundance. Okay. Yes, buying tangible metals, metals like gold and silver is very important for you to buy. This is why I used to like, what was it? 15, 20 years ago, I was telling, well, my people listen. Some of my people listen because I'm from the prepper community. So we about that life. So many of us, you saw what I bought years ago. We did this. I was already told that there was going to be a collapse in the future. And I was like, you know what? Let me buy stuff now when I could afford it. And I did it. And I'm so grateful I did it back then. But do it. If you get a chance, just make sure you do it. And, make sure you're proactive, because me sharing the PoleShift is just, you have to be very vigilant right now, because they are literally collapsing all systems. Okay, it's going to be a one world, but it won't be a one world order like you think. It'll be more in unity consciousness. Okay, so everything is collapsing. Okay, so we talked about they stopped it already. Okay, so we talked about the financial thing. I told you that thing. Somebody wrote it down. Make sure. Oh, what's his name was going on about the Contagion movie, and the 144 was in there. The guy was like, he's going to be in there 144 years. 144 days in jail. Then 144 showed up. So thank you, N Golden. A few days ago, there was fog in the morning in almost all states. Well, they're geoengineering the weather. They're fracking in a lot of places. Then you have the natural pole shift. See, this is the issue. We have a natural pole shift that is basically something that happens. Mother Tiamat does this herself. She clears off her planet. Usually she heats up the planet to get rid of the parasites. Parasites don't like heat. She gets a fever. But what they're doing is, because we have a lot of unnatural, very dark beings coexisting here, they make it cooler. So they they do bioengineer the weather, and they'll end up making it cooler in places that it's supposed to be hotter. So they're delaying something that inevitably will happen regardless. Okay, the planet is heating up. It's not global warming. It's what she does to get rid of you bastards off of her surface. Willy Wonka and Yuli Gadoo, they haven't any tolerance of the heat. They can't live in the heat. Parasites and viruses don't like the heat. You heat them up. It's like cooking them, getting them off the surface. That's why they're doing all this diabolicalness. Okay, so basically, this is what they do. So they're bioengineering the weather. They're creating havoc in certain ways. But the planet does her own thing. So hold on. I'm being nosy. Hold on. I'm being nosy. I think they're going to have a whole bunch of Russians moving next door. Which is fine. I have a home next door that's owned by a Russian, so it makes sense that someone from Russia would purchase it. Okay, so I went into the financial aspect. Buy gold and silver. You should buy it now. Do not sell. Listen to me, family. So there's going to be people who offer you money for the gold that you bought back in the days. Keep your gold. Your grandmother's gold that's 18 karat. Your mother's gold that's 24 karat. The gold that you got from Jamaica or Italy. Keep your gold and silver. It is worth more than anything else. If you sell it, and they give you fiat is going out. We won't have paper money. Trees won't be murdered anymore. We're getting out of fiat money, a currency. I can tell you that. That's all. That's not even undercurrent. All my financial gurus, they already said we're getting out of fiat. So we won't be having exchange of fiat anymore. It'll most likely end after the collapse. Okay, and they'll probably have a currency that we utilize, but to my knowledge, it won't be fiat based. It'll be like crypto based. Okay, so just know that most likely it will be in that format. I was supposed to tell you something else. Okay, so they already have the virus there. They've already disseminated agenda to depopulate their place, Chinois neck of the woods. All the volcanoes are getting active. Okay, all of the volcanoes are getting active. So just know, we discussed this. Know your location. If you're on my IG, you already know. And if you were on my Patreon, we already did like our little sweep energetically doing the crystal ball reading and stuff that we do every year. So just be mindful, very mindful of that. Now, energetically, let's get into metaphysics. Because metaphysical, most people think PoleShift is just the physical, but it's metaphysical. It's every form of physicality, okay? So the PoleShift is happening within. Remember, everything as within, so without. The PoleShift, everything shifting on us will translate in everything shifting outside of us, okay? What you're going to notice is like a lot of people are going to be busted. There are going to be people going to jail. A lot of people that you know that you thought you knew, a lot of their reveals are going to come out. A lot of truth is going to come out if you're not seeing it already. A lot of like everything that was hidden is going to come out. You already saw 2020, the quote unquote Gregorian 2020. Remember, 2020 hasn't really even begun yet, according to us going into spring solstice. By the time spring solstice comes, which is what I consider to be our New Year's, that's when you're going to see everything unfold. It's beautiful, but it's chaotic. This is important. The reveal is going to perpetually keep bringing out those things that were in the dark. We're flip moding. We're going back. Everything has to be revealed. Everything. Your uncle who stashes the liquor underneath the cabinet and Auntie Betty didn't know it's been hidden for like 20 years. Bam, bottles fall out. He's busted. Okay? Somebody who's been stealing money from their somebody else's account for the last 10 years, taking little bits and pieces out of their account, and then all of a sudden, everything's revealed. Somebody that you thought was your homie, that you thought kicked it with you, that you thought they were about you and you're about them, it's going to be revealed. Men and women that are having affairs, that are having extramarital affairs, and they thought that they got away with it because they only meet them up on Tuesdays and Wednesdays after work or during lunchtime, that's going to be revealed. So everything is coming out. And then today, big up to all those, big up to those. It's the new moon in Aquarius. Aquarius is about thinking, but Aquarius bringing that out. Remember, we're going into the age of Aquarius. Aquarius is about, the ladle of water being poured. Okay, so think in terms of the new moon in Aquarius. And then you have a lot of the planets coming in along with Mercury retrograde that I think we go into in like a week or two, right? I think Mercury retrograde is in like a week or two. So today is the full moon. So know that it's a new moon, not full moon, new moon. And this is for you to take this as maybe you wanted to reveal something. Maybe you wanted to start something new. Maybe you wanted to end something. This is the time. So put your motivation out there. Put your mindset out there. Remember, new moon is about bringing things to fruition, bringing newness to something. Do it before, obviously, the new moon. The energies of the new moon last about 14 days, which is 2 weeks. And by the time retrograde, do it before the retrograde starts. Okay, so start getting your new moon energy. If there are things you desire, if you need to kind of bring something to fruition that you were working on, this is the time to do it. And it's in Aquarius, so a lot of reveals going. So like maybe there's a reveal that there was money for your company that you didn't know, and now you can get a grant that doesn't require a payback. Maybe this is a time for you to get a divorce. All the other times divorces weren't available, but now you have the resources to get a divorce. Everything's in alignment for your divorce. Now you can get a divorce. This is a new moon. Okay, the energies will also cause the biobots, the syntheticas, the empty seaters, and people demonically possessed to come out of the closet. Okay, so with a pole shift causes the energies to go, 10 times faster. Remember, the frequency goes faster. It's like speeding up. Depends on the way that you perceive your reality. And with that, you're going to see all of the glitches with the biobots, the syntheticas, the empty seaters, the demonically possessed. They'll be cursing people out publicly. They'll be glitching out so people can see them. Everything is coming out. Okay? So when the demons come out of the closet, just, keep your distance and rebuke them. Okay? So do know that's a big part of right now with the energies, because it's not only just a reveal, it's people showing themselves, showing their true selves. Okay? So if someone's been possessed, You know, a lot of people watch their eyes. This, you know, when people do the eyes shaking and the eyes back and forth, a lot of that's demonic possession, okay? Or infiltration in the auric field, okay? So, you know, be careful when you go out in public. A lot of people are losing it because the energies are speeding up so much. For those who are not aware, they're getting triggered because there's like an undercurrent that they don't know where it's coming from. So they get agitated and they kind of, you know, glitch out, or they kind of lose it. Oh, thank you, Taryn. I appreciate it, love. Thank you. So just, you need to be mindful of that, because that will happen in your families. It will happen in your friendships. It will happen at your jobs. It will happen with the children. It will happen with your neighbors. Be up on that. You have to, because they're going to lose it. There's a lot of people possessed right now, and the demons cannot go. Remember, the frequency's speeding up, so it automatically gives exorcisms, automatic exorcisms. And because demons don't want to leave these bodies, they're going to fight it. And the way that they fight it is by putting a lot of pressure on the host, or making the host act out of sorts, because they got an attachment on them, and the attachment's uncomfortable. So it will cause the person to kind of implode a little bit. So thank you, Taryn, again. Thank you. Hey, you. So just be mindful. And when I say, listen, there's somebody I know that's a straight alcoholic. The demons are all out. Like, the demons used to hide and try to pretend. There isn't any pretending. The demons will show themselves. They're not trying to cloak themselves right now because they can't. There's a mass exodus happening, and they can't be on this planet because the frequencies are raising up so high. So because the magnetic field is getting higher, and because the frequency is speeding up, they can't, it isn't cohesive for them anymore. It isn't as dense. Okay, because of that, they're uncomfortable, and they will create chaos for their hosts. So hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your purse, because everybody's going crazy on this planet. Okay? And you'll see them. These are the people that, you know, they'll say it to you too. How you know also is like, they'll say the alcohol, this is what's happening too. They'll say that, oh my God, the alcohol's not tasting the same. It's not that the alcohol's not tasting the same. The entity is not getting fed what's necessary to keep it as is hosted. So a lot of the things that they used to do, like drugs or alcohol, that used to keep those demons happy and fulfilled, isn't giving them, because they aren't meant to be here. They aren't getting their fix. So because the fix isn't like it was, it's going to drive these demons to show up. Keep yourself out of their business. 999. Thank you, my love. Thank you, Denise. 999. It's the end of demonic possession. It's an automatic exorcism. So just keep your distance, and they're trigger happy too. So, you know, you're going to see people also mass exodus of people via suicide. So be mindful of people who are absolutely suicidal, because again, the frequencies are raising. PoleShift brings a lot of beautiful things, but it also ends a lot of unhealthy things. Okay. With the PoleShift, it's disinfecting, because Mother Tiamat raises her frequency, and the only way we can stay on her physically is if we raise with her. But the deities, excuse me. But the deities who are not matching her aren't able to stay. So it's going to cause a little bit of that differential in vibrations for them. So when they drink liquor, you'll see it. You have happy alcoholics. Those happy alcoholics won't be happy anymore. They won't get their fix. Oh, thank you, Taryn. I appreciate it, my love. Yeah, they won't get their fix. And you will see, they'll tell you. And, and the worst ones will be the ones like heroin addicts, meth addicts, prescription drug addicts. These are the ones that are going to lose their mind. Like, those are the ones you got to be careful, because they might start shooting their families up. So if you have someone in your house that has happy dandy alcoholic and drug beings on them, you need to be vigilant. I'm being real. And what I don't even tell you, because a lot of stuff, remember, I talk to people worldwide. I don't even tell you some things that are happening on the back leg. And it's not just, and usually I could say, you say, oh, sometimes I could say it's just one person. No, it's different people who look differently from different necks of the wood, and they're all having the same scenarios happen. Watch who you're with. So if you're in the household with somebody who's drinking, you may want to exit stage right and start hatching out an exodus plan out your home, or get them out your house, because they're gonna lose it. And you want to have sane, sober people in your house pre-PoleShift. Because if you have an alcoholic in your house, or you have a drug addict in your house, and then you have a whole system that collapses, you gonna have World War III in your house, and you're gonna have to fight the demons that are on that person, because they won't be able to sustain a healthy mental status in that case. So this isn't to scare you. This is to make you proactive. So you need to check yourself before you wreck yourself. If you got somebody, or if you're the person, it's no judgment. If you're the person who's jonesing for alcohol, you can't not have wine. You can't have your prescription. What's the drugs? Somebody was telling me there's a oh gosh, is it Xanax? No, it's not Xanax. Is it Xanax? I think it's Xanax. There's one drug that a lot of regular people take. I think it's Xanax. I don't know what it is. It's a couple different. Is it Xanax? I'm correct? Okay. Oh, I'm right? Okay. Xanax. Hey, Brandy. That's a big deal. Those people are going to have withdrawal symptoms, and you're going to have problems. You're going to have problems. Vicodin, all that kind of craziness. So I'm just telling you, if you're the person suffering from that, I suggest you do a fast. Maybe we'll do another fast before spring or New Year's. If you want to do a fast together, I'm supportive of you getting sober. You won't ever hear FleurBrun hate on you for having an addiction, because I drink coffee. If you need to clear yourself off the wine and spirits, or maybe that, and you need some people who actually have done it before, you need to clean yourself off your prescription drugs, especially if it's not a necessity. Because this isn't to scare you, but when you go through withdrawal during a time where there's chaos, you won't want to live. You won't want to live anymore. Why are you speeding in my neighborhood? You see young bus speeding in my neighborhood. You know, they get a little Beamer. Little young privileged children with Beamers. They just drive like they don't care, because the parents pay their insurance, their car insurance. And it's not a judgment. I'm just telling you now, family. We're talking about PoleShift. That's something you're going to have to correct real quick. So if you have addiction to like sleeping pills, if you can't sleep at night, you need to get off of that. Wean yourself, get yourself on some magnesium and calcium. We can do it together. Don't feel like you can't. Just do it. And it's out of love. I want you to be successful. I want your children. I want you to all be good in the hood. But I'm telling you, because I'm a prepper over 20, almost 30 years, the worst thing you can have is an addiction. And the whole system collapses, and you can't get your Xanax, your Venadol, whatever you got, coffee too. Because when I get withdrawal on coffee, it's crazy. Oh, thank you, Elijah. I'm well, love. How are you? Thank you, my love. Yeah, so I'm just saying, because when I detox, if you notice, I do my fast. I detox off the coffee first, and then I do my fast. Because if I did it all at once, listen, and I'm telling you from experience, when I did my fast, when I would do everything at once, I would be miserable. So what I do is I detox off my coffee, because I have other things I love. I have things that have, like chicory. I have all these wonderful, yummy supplemental type of, chicory is really, really good. So you can get drinks that taste like coffee, but get off that nicotine, get off that coffee, get off that drug. I'm just saying, learn to live without things that you feel you're addicted to. That's all. No shade, but the hardest ones are like heroin, cocaine. I don't think cocaine does cocaine have, I don't think cocaine's the same. Cocaine, I think most coke addicts are not, they're addicted to the high, but they're like drinking Monster drinks and all that kind of stuff. Crack, do people still do crack? Nobody does crack anymore. Do they still have crack? Do people still do crack? They don't sell crack anymore, do they? Crack was like they got crack still? What? Stop playing. Oh, snap. I thought crack was gone. What? Children are doing crack. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm sorry. I thought crack was gone. Did crack come back, or crack never left? Oh, yo, maybe I've been sheltered, family, because I haven't seen a crack addict since the 1990s. I thought crack left with the 90s. I didn't know there was still crack. It never left. Oh, snap. Okay, So crackheads walking around. All right, I thought that was the mollies and these new things. Okay, so if you're suffering from crack addiction, DMX was on crack. I know he was. Okay, it never left. Oh, this isn't good. Okay, crack is whack. All right, family. So if you know people who are crack addicts in your family, oh dag. See, crack is one of those things. It's one of those. See, crack is one of those things you don't want people like that around, because they got demons that you can't trust. Those are the demons that are swipers. You ever see swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping? Those are the swipers. You don't need to have crack addicts around. They'll steal your food to give for some money. They can't be trusted. So I'm not telling you what to do, family, but for PoleShift prepping, number one for PoleShift prepping, you have to protect your environment and where your cubs are. And if you have anyone suffering, especially crack addiction, because I remember those days, those are swipers. They can't be trusted with your things, with your prepping, because you could be prepping, saving up things. They'll take your flashlight, sell it for like cigarettes. They don't have the biggest issue. Those are the ones you got to keep at bay. So if you got crackheads that are close to you or live in your neighborhood, that's you're gonna have to treat them like the zombies. I'm serious. You're gonna have to treat that like the zombie apocalypse, because a crackhead, when they're detoxing, those are the mother freakers that will jump on roofs and like steal stuff. So you just have to, those are the ones, because it's not really, the other ones are different, but these, they'll steal your batteries to get cigs, to get medical marijuana. They'll do anything. Crack is one of those swiping things. I call them the swipers. So you're going to have the swiper apocalypse all over if you live near crack. I didn't think crack was still around. They steal dust. They're real clever too. Crack, it's the spirit on them. See, okay, so let's go into this PoleShift addictions, pre-addiction issues. Each drug and alcohol has a spirit, a deity. That's why you'll see one person who's brown drinking Hennessy, and another person who has the same addiction to Cavassier, another form of Cavassier, and they'll drink another form of Cavassier and a more bougier drink, but they look alike when they're drunk, because it's the same deity attached to that particular liquor, okay? Vodka, it's a very similar behavior because the entities are the same deity, because when they distill the sugar, there are the same spirits on them. So that's why people act alike, even if it's from different demographics, different complexions. The same goes for drugs. That's why crack is one of those. That's one of the ones you don't want people around you who are on crack. Meth addicts might be different. I don't know meth, but I know crackheads. Oh, wait, hold on. Thank you, Guava Berry. I appreciate it. Okay, people no longer die from crack like before. Alcohol and prescription drug addictions have really bad withdrawal that can kill if not careful. Thank you, Guava Berry. Yeah, I'm just kind of shocked that crack is still there. I'm just really shocked. I didn't know. I haven't been around crack addicts since the 90s. I haven't seen any. And maybe crack addicts are more functional. Maybe I don't even know there's crack addicts. Maybe I don't even know they're doing crack, because I don't know. Maybe it's a different way they used to do it, right? It could just be there's crack addicts and I don't know what that looks like because it changed. Maybe they're functional. Back in the days, you could tell a crackhead. Okay, so different drugs and different things have different deities. Crackheads are swipers. They're just swipers. Anybody on here suffering from crack addiction, you know this is the truth. You need to start to wean yourself off. Check yourself in a facility. I'm telling you, because a lot of these people addicted to drugs, especially crack, they're going to cause havoc PoleShift. These are not people you want around you, or you can initiate them going into rehab now, family. We're in PoleShift mode right now. We are in PoleShift mode. So you really have to now, if you're suffering from alcoholism, even if it's really slight, swiper no swiping, swiper no swiping. If you're suffering from any sort of addiction, we can do a nice detox. We have people on here who used to be alcoholics. Listen, our family has everybody. We're a very inclusive nest of people. We got people who used to do, who used to be drinkers. We have people who used to do coke. We have people We have people who used to, drink, sipping on the yak every weekend. So we have everybody in our family who know how to conquer and to overcome these things. So there isn't any embarrassment or anything, but this is a time, this is my suggestion, family. If you are the one who is suffering from any of these main addictions, I'm talking about narcotics or any form of pill addiction, it's going to be, this is now or never. I'm coming to you like that. It's like fourth and goal. It's like, try to wean now. Because I know when I wean off of coffee, I know I'm good. I'm not going to be coming in your window looking for coffee. Like, I'll be in Jose, I'll be in your house like, yo, son, you got coffee? I know you got some coffee in there. Yeah, I'll be climbing. I'll be going to New York just to climb in Jose's window. Like, yo, up the fire escape. I'll be like, yo, Jose, open up your door. I know you got coffee in there. That's what a problem. Jose be like, FleurBrun, come on now. You're better than this. You're better than this. Trying to talk me down. Be like, yo, Jose, let me just smell it. Let me let me just have a sniff of your coffee, please. Please, I can't make it. That's crazy. That's like a movie in itself. FleurBrun's out the window jonesing for some coffee. She's knocking on everybody's window. I know you got coffee in there. Oh, thank you, Lavetta. Thank you, Lavita. I appreciate it. Thank you, my love. Thank you. That's how it feels when you want coffee, though. You smell it. Jose be like, hide the coffee. FleurBrun somewhere on the block. Shut down the block. Yo, it's prison currency. It's like, that'd be funny. Oh, Carlos too got Cuban coffee. I mean, that's what the point is. Okay, so just be mindful. I'm making jokes of it, but I'm serious. hide the thermos. She knows we got it in here. I'm serious. You'd be surprised what people, I don't know if many of you watch like Survivor. I don't know if you watch movies like, they're still what are you cutting? Clowns. Oh my God. I'm so New York. I'm so New York in that way. This agitates. I don't like loud sounds like that. That to me is crazy. These are things to be really, really proactive with. If you know you have these addictions, check them before they wreck you. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. You need to do that now. And I suggest if you want to do fast, because we always fasting, our family always fasting. So sometimes we do our fasting. This guy, he's still here. Like it's like I almost feel like they're doing it purposefully. Sometimes they do it to get close to see me. Yeah, sometimes, they be trying to kick. When they try to kick it to you, they think that isn't attractive. Turn the blower off. That's attractive to me. Keeping my peace of mind is attractive to me. Anyway, yeah, just crazy. All right, so just deal with your addictions, family. Everybody, don't judge anybody. If somebody's on here, you feel like they know your strife, they know your struggle. But for those of you who aren't suffering from marijuana, Chief, let me watch. Yeah, I got Chief. I don't call it its original name. I gotta watch my words on here. We have codes for everything. Sugar's another one. Oh, if you got sugar's like being a crackhead. If you got a sugar addiction, you're gonna be miserable. Y'all should know that. Sugar, especially if you have parasites in you that are craving sugar, because most people don't realize it's not you craving sugar, it's the parasites inside of you craving sugar. Most people with sugar addiction, it isn't you, it's the entities that are driving you to eat sugar. You need to do a detox too. You need to fast. Sugar addiction's worse. It's just like crack. It's worse than crack even. So if you have that, you need to do a fast. That's my number one suggestion to you. You need to fast. And you need to fast for sugar addiction. You got to fast at least 10 days. Sugar addiction is probably worse than a lot of the other addictions because it's like cocaine. It's like a cocaine crack kind of thing. Okay, so you should be fasting off of sugar. It's very easy. And I always tell people who have sugar fast, you can't do fruit. When you do a sugar fast, you got to shut it all down. Because they're like, oh, what if I stop synthetic sugar? If you have parasites that are craving sweets, they will shift. They'll take a fruit, they'll take an apple over anything. You got to shut on all the sugars down. You got to do a fast. Do a green fast. What are you? I'm so vile right now. Get out of here. Get out of the neighborhood. Yeah, detox family. Get off that sugar. Sugar's an issue. Chief, you know Chief has just as bad a withdrawal as sometimes cocaine or cigarettes. So you know that if you're chiefing and you got to do that daily, we shouldn't even have that conversation. Because chiefing, you shouldn't be doing chief every day. If you're doing chief every day, you're not doing it for herbal reasons. You're not doing it for homeopathic reasons. You're an addict, okay? Just like I'm an addict for coffee. You need to check yourself with that. Chiefing isn't good for you to do every day. That wasn't what the herb was intended to do. It shouldn't be burnt, number one. So if you're doing it every day, you need to wean yourself off and take that down to nada and then see if you can tolerate it. Like I said, this is just my suggestion pre-PoleShift. You need to get off of that. You know, there's a... Oh my God. Anxiety meds. Okay. If you're on medications, PoleShift. Okay, so these are things to know about also. With PoleShift, because there's not going to be any pharmaceuticals to service you. Oh, there's a lot of people in here. Y'all like the conversation about PoleShift. If you're in the room, please put a handy dandy like. We have 640 people in the room. Just letting me know that you like the content and you want this to stay up. That I would appreciate it. Thank you. You want to make sure that if you're on prescription drugs, this is something, and I think I've discussed this on my prepper video on Patreon. I think it did, but I'll kind of refresh it a little bit. If you're on any medications, like high blood pressure medication, you know, you got to get into things like herbalism. You need to have alternatives. So moringa is good for high blood pressure, for anyone who doesn't know. So if you know that you have high blood pressure and it spikes, having magnesium on tap, having moringa on tap, these are things that you should have in your arsenal. You should have herbal alternatives to your medications. So for your prescriptions, for every prescription you have for whatever it is, you should have the alternative, okay? So if you have, like I said, for thyroid, if it's hypo, you need to have bladderwrack on tap. You need to have forms of iodine on tap, okay? If you have issues with anxiety, you need to have magnesium on tap, calcium on tap. You also have to have ashwagandha on tap. These are the things that you have to keep on within your dried moringa leaves. I prefer you have dried leaves with your herbs rather than, you know, the medication, you know, how they have them in the capsules. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it's as effective. Fresh herbs always work, and then you could dry freeze them. I mean, seal them. I have a sealer. Buy a sealer. Now, you know, back in the days when I bought my sealer, it was expensive. You can get a sealer. If you're picking your herbs from your garden, make sure any herbs that I have from my garden, if I have extra and I don't give them away, I take them and I seal them. Okay, and then I put a date on them. Okay, have your herbs. Have everything you need. Have turmeric. If you have issues with heart attack, or you're worried about heart attacks or heart issues, you should definitely have cayenne pepper, which can stop a heart attack. Okay, if you're, you know, these are things. There's a ton of different things. Yeah, I know the leaf blower. He keeps doing it. Cayenne pepper is a lifesaver, and it has stopped many people's heart attack. Also, it cauterizes a little bit. So if you're bleeding a lot, cayenne pepper has a way of stopping the bleeding. Okay, so having cayenne pepper is also very good for speeding up your metabolism if you need it sped up. Cayenne pepper you should have everywhere. It's for everything. So do have cayenne pepper around. Valerian root for relaxing. See, we have a lot of, so you need to, okay, so this is my suggestion for PoleShift. Make sure that for every prescription drug, you have the herbal equivalent, and not just in the herbs, but in the seeds. Listen to me, family. You want to be proactive, and you want to be able to sustain yourself, not just for the moment, but for a while. So let's say everything goes haywire, the whole system shuts down. You don't have your You don't have your prescriptions ever again. You have the herbal, but you need the seeds, because it doesn't make sense to have herbs. The herbs will eventually break down. So it doesn't matter if you have herbs, because you may run out. Where are you going to get those herbs? Have the seeds. So I want you, as a homework assignment for everyone on here who's on medications, I want you to go and take every medication out of your cabinet that you require for whatever reason. If they took your thyroid out and you have thyroid medication to help to make your hormones level, what do you have? Okay, so maybe you need estrogen and so on, so you need more sweet potatoes and yams. Okay, have that on deck. Have the seeds. Make sure you have the herbs. Can you get the seeds for them? Get heirlooms. Make sure they're 50 years plus. Okay, make sure you get that now. Seal them and put them in your bug out bag. These are conversations that we need to have, okay? So make sure, and if you have your grandmother, your mother, so for my mother, I know what she has. My mother, I know her medications, and when I talk to her doctor, because I go to my mother's doctor's appointments, I know what my mother has in her arsenal. So what I do is, I told the doctor certain things. I want them to lower her medication because I want her body to level off, because I know what times we're in, and her doctors are wonderful with me. And then what I do is, every medication my mother has, if you have a water pill, do you know what helps to get water out of your system? What is it? Parsley. So if you have water pills, for those who have water pills, who get water, who sometimes have water buildup, parsley, drinking with, is it parsley? Yeah, it's parsley. Parsley, making teas with parsley will help as a natural diuretic. Grapes are good, but if you're in a region where you can't grow grapes, it's important to have it. What is that? Lisinopril? Oh, thank you, Purple Goddess. Is that also a diuretic? Where's Narda? Do we have another one? Narda? Caffeine is good for asthma. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Who else? Let's see. Yes, the PoleShift is the whole planet. The whole planet is going to go through a PoleShift. Please put a like on the video if you're stepping in the room and you like the content and you appreciate the conversation. Fibroids. Fibroids fibroids get fed. So in like any tumor, anything, baking soda should be in your arsenal. Baking soda baths help. Castor oil packs with baking soda, that's big for fibroids. Fasting now, if you want to lower your fibroids, halt from eating any dairy, any eggs, any poultry, but especially dairy and meats. You can kind of starve fibroids. A lot of these tumors or growths can't grow if you don't feed them. So the more alkaline, this is when alkalinity helps you. The more alkaline your body is, the less cohesive, because they usually need more acidity in order to be more cohesive. So a way to you got to starve your fibroids. Stay away from all dairy. That's number one. Sugars. Sugar helps to feed any sort of carcinogen or anything. They love sugar. Stay off of sugar. So for all those who have fibroids, and also add more iron to your staple of diet. So I said, if you aren't allergic to sulfur, the number one thing I say is plantation molasses, blackstrap molasses, helps to shrink fibroids and also, reverse graves. So it does 2-par. So, make sure if you aren't allergic, if you aren't sensitive to sulfur, like myself, blackstrap molasses is amazing at taking internally. And also, if you want to do it and you want to keep real cohesive, I like to make it also with my girlfriend. I did it as a pack with castor oil, baking soda, and with blackstrap molasses, and I put it on her tummy, and then I put a towel on, and then I put a warm a heating pad on top, and I let her sit like that, and I make sure she doesn't wash it off, and that also helps. So these are little home remedies that you can do. Also, doing foot detoxers can help pull toxins out of your system. A lot of people don't give credit to doing that. Doing salt pulls. Cherries are good for arthritis. Absolutely. So we had a lot of things like this. This is wonderful. So look at this, family. You all are very cohesive. So make sure for everything, like I said before, for everything that you have medication for, have the herbal supplement and the seed. Keep that on you, and make sure that you keep your seeds in 2 different places. Never just hold one bug out bag. Anyway, you can see that on Patreon, because I had a bug out bag. I don't keep everything in one bag, because in case of emergency, you may not have access to your home. You don't know how it's going to pop off post-PoleShift, during PoleShift, or whatever. So you always want to have alternate places that you keep your things. You never want to keep things in one spot, because then you're done. You know, be mindful and be smart about how you conduct yourself during emergencies for any reason. Whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a tsunami, whether it's a snowstorm, you should react, and you should have the same format of way that you deal with emergencies, in a way that's cohesive and very resourceful. Okay. All right. So we have that. So I talked about that, being prepped for the addiction, crackheads, coffee heads like me. You don't want FleurBrun climbing in your window talking about give me some coffee. So just make sure you check yourself. I talked about location. I can't tell you that. Have some of the people put the things on here from the video before. Many of you heard why I told you to check your location, because some facilities, Willy Wonka facilities, that could make you concerned during the PoleShift. So if you don't get a chance, it's on my Patreon. I pulled it off. Some of you saw the video, and you could kind of tell everybody to look it up here. I can't say it out loud because I already got threatened. So sometimes when I give you intel, especially if it's something like that, Willy Wonka will come for me. So I just made sure I gave you the information. I pulled it off, but some of you saw it already. Make sure you know your locale. Okay, know your locale as it concerns nuclear facilities, grids. Willy Wonka installments, and other places. Okay, just mind yourself as far as that's concerned. Do you know how far a radius you are from a nuclear plant? Do you know how close you are to any facilities of importance? Okay, it's important for you to know that, because if you are too close to something, remember, a herd of people that are crazy. Are you close to to a place that's mental, a mental facility? Remember, when everything shuts down, family, that means everything. That means officers are going to stay home with their families. You know this, right? That means emergency workers won't be on. If you've ever watched a movie, and it keeps it real. If you ever watch a movie, when everything goes more than 14 days, people are going home to their families. And I wouldn't blame them for that. So an officer who's been working double shift all day, and he isn't getting paid anymore because the whole Willy Wonka shut down, he isn't getting paid anymore to uphold, security. He's going to go secure his household. He can't secure you because he has priorities of his own, and it isn't wrong for him to do that. I wouldn't even blame him for doing that. So you have to know that that's the case. And if that's the case, are you living next to a place where there's a facility of people who are mentally ill? Okay, what happens to that when the staff doesn't show up anymore? Eventually those people get out. Where are they going? How far are you away from them? Where do you think they're going to go? These are people who have been locked up for a long period of time. I already gave you this note. So be mindful of that. You have to take in consideration. It's not just you chilling at home, think it's all good in the hood. It's the madness outside of you that you have to note. Doesn't mean it's going to happen to you, but you have to denote it. If you're 10 minutes away from somewhere, that's walking distance. That isn't anything for somebody who hasn't eaten. They haven't been around people in public. They're going to take advantage of the scenario. They're mentally probably possessed with all kinds of demons of mass destruction and they are off all their antipsychotic medications. Where are they going? Take somebody who's on Zoloft and what's the other antipsychotic drug? The Zoloft is not, it's the antidepressant. What's another one? There's numerous medications. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm about this life. You already know who I am on CB radio. So y'all already know I go by Compost Chick. That's me. Some of you found me already. So I'm Compost Chick. A lot of people know me on the ham radio. Get yourself a ham radio so you can talk to each other. Lithium. Thank you, Narda. Lithium. Get yourself a ham radio. So, start testing out your ham radio. I got to get my mate to come over and adjust mine. So, this, like I said, these are all things as just regular people. If we took out the pole shift out of this conversation, family, by all means, this is a regular conversation. So when people say, oh, she's fear-mongering. No. If I was fear-mongering, I would tell you the problem without a solution. So please refrain from writing me books on how I'm terrifying people, how you're afraid to go to sleep. I've given you tools. I'm the only mama. I'm one of the only mothers of color, a copper woman of color, that comes on here and shares this intel. I'm very unique in my perspective because of the type of person I am. So I'm giving it to you raw in a way that most won't give it to you because they're more comfortable. I'm around people either very wealthy, medium, or very poor. I don't judge anybody based on that because it won't matter post-apocalypse. What fiat is in your pocket won't matter at that point. That's why you shouldn't envy or admire people who are really wealthy. That's why they're getting their resources on, because they know once the fiat goes out, they're just a regular person. So they're getting up on their resources. I treat everybody equally. Okay? So just, refrain from writing me like headlines of things. Or just don't come to my, that's what I always tell them. Why even come to my, why do you even, you know what YouTube needs to do? YouTube needs to tell people, like, let you see who's on your feed to see who keeps coming on here and they have issues with you. Because I feel like if you don't like me, you shouldn't be coming to my videos to get intel and then having the nerve to have nasty things to say. If you watch me for this long, for this amount of time, and you've taken note of everything I shared, and then you're going to write some nonsense, that's crazy to me. That means you're sociologically unsound. It means you're mentally unstable. You shouldn't even watch my video if you don't like me. It's just, we have parasites on here that are just parasitic. And they just nasty people, and they just want to take, but they just, they just have a mindset that they want to take your information, but they don't ever want to be appropriate about it or sane about it. Anyway, that's just a sidebar. Okay, so we talked about being in safe locations. I already have on Instagram. I think I cleared a lot of you on Instagram. Some of you are friending me on Instagram. You can't just walk in my Instagram anymore. So on Instagram, you saw a picture of a lot of the volcanoes that are there. Europe, y'all in Europe, y'all got to be up on it. Europe is a hot spot, especially Italy. Where's my Italian family? Italy, you got to be up on it. They got so many volcanoes. Europe is going to be decimated. We talked about this before. I'm not going to go too much on here. But Europe, you got to be careful because you got that's why they're letting all of the people from the Middle East in those countries, because the wealthiest people already left. They're living over in Abu Dhabi. They're living over in Dubai. They're living over in Africa already. They've already have their underground bunkers. Anybody left in a lot of these cities are the poorest. Even here, the Chinois. The wealthiest Chinois, I looked in my neighborhood, the wealthiest Chinois already did their relocation. The Chinois that didn't have any resources or money to relocate, those are the ones that are expendable to Willy Wonka and his League of Doom. Okay, so if you're in Europe right now and you don't have the intel to bounce, that means you're not part of that club. You need to take care of you and your family and be proactive. Because all the ones I know, and FleurBrun walks in many circles, I'm grateful and I'm allotted to see it, but a lot of all the wealthiest Europeans that I know, and I know a lot of them, they've already bounced and they already set up shop, and they were beefing with me about getting out of here. So I'm just saying, if you're still there and you didn't get that intel from them or anybody else, that means you aren't part of that top tier. Europe isn't safe at all. At all. Not during PoleShift, not pre-PoleShift, not anything. So you need to think of all other alternatives in case of anything. So just that's not to put fear in you. It's to make you proactive. Look at where the volcanoes are. How far distance are you? Do you know of any inactive volcanoes? Because all volcanoes will go active. If you notice, each of the volcanoes that supposedly weren't active are all becoming active. And I said it to you 6 years ago because I got the news. So it doesn't matter if it's a dormant volcano or so on. If you have sulfur springs, if you have sulfur coming from your ground, if you have sulfur water coming from your wells, chances are you have a volcano within 10 to 20 miles of you. You need to know that, because when volcanoes blow, they just don't blow in the same location. They blow all over. That it's at least sometimes 30, 40 miles radius, depending on how big, where it's coming from, because lava stays on the ground. You just don't know how it's going to, you're going to start seeing air pockets come up, you know, the vents. When you start seeing vents. So if you start getting warm air in certain areas, thank you, and Golden. I already did that on I did that on Patreon. It would take me too much time to go through that. But you can, I gave you a lot of tools in Golden. So you got to look at everything I gave you. I gave you a lot of things. Some of the stuff I give you, you got to be proactive. And I mean, I'm giving you basically everything. You just have to be proactive to look into what's feasible and what's appropriate for you, applicable to you. If you live somewhere and you saw I gave you intel, you know, I can't, like, you know, it would be unfair to require me to go through everything with everyone on every place. It isn't fair for me. The fact that I'm sharing it is just, should be, you know, more than enough for you to kind of go through your own breakdown of what's righteous for you. Okay? So you got to kind of look through things, see what I shared, and see if it's applicable to you, see if it feels right, and see if it makes sense. So, like I said, I've done a lot of shares everywhere. I've been talking about the PoleShift for like, since I've been on YouTube. So, I mean, this is like kind of like, you got to go through my archives to do the work. You know, sometimes it's if someone shares something, you got to go and be proactive too. All timelines have the PoleShift. Some PoleShifts will be more cataclysmic than others. Some people won't experience any of the some people won't experience the full-on PoleShift in a way that, remember, how awake you are is how much you will, the more awake you are. Remember, the PoleShift is an energetic sweep and a frequency elevation. It's what Mother Tiamat does. If you match her, you're going to be in that already. So what you experience or what you witness is something very light. You know what I mean? You'll already be in a safe place. You'll already be there because you're already heightened the awareness. The full-on PoleShift in a negative cataclysmic way is for those mofos who are still asleep, who choose to live in materialism, who are shallow, sociopathic. A lot of the dark ones who are possessed with drinking wine and spirits, crack, people doing drugs, people who are not heightened in awareness, they will experience the full-on PoleShift in a way that's necessary to raise their consciousness. That's a spiritual evolution for them. So they experience that based on their consciousness and their frequency. So what you experience will be different than someone who is who's unawake and unaware. It's like you already woke up with your alarm clock. Your alarm clock woke up. You already got up, you dressed, you're ready, you're already out the house. There are people who are still had the alarm clock. They turned it off. They're done. They didn't even wake up. They haven't even woke. The alarm clock went up. They never even had an alarm clock. Shalom. So, you know, that's not everything's for, so each timeline has versions, but based on your frequency and your heightened sense of awareness. If you're a hateful person and you're mean-spirited, you're going to experience mean-spirited people who are havoc wrecking for you. If you're a parasite and you steal from people, or you cause havoc and you disrespect people, best believe during the PoleShift you're going to get all that times 10. So, you know, you get what you are. You get what you are. So if you're a healthy person, you recycle, you love the earth, you're good to your neighbors, you're peaceful, you're honoring of self, you love yourself. Your experience, the PoleShift will happen for you. But you're going to be in the right place, right time. It's going to be beautiful for you. It's going to be such a wonderful revelation. You know, it's going to be a whole different thing for yourself. So how you experience it is based on your frequency. It's just the layer and level of you. Okay? So get right. Get right. Listen, whenever I think I get it right, I got something else that comes up. A shadow pops out like a bone. Oh, snap. I didn't know I wasn't perfect. Okay, so that means I got to do something new. You see what I'm saying? So even FleurBrun has to do, I'm sorry. I don't like, okay, for anyone, I don't like my hair on my back. That's why I always do that. I was in your dreams a few weeks ago. I hope I was behaving, Jen. You never know. You attract your vibration. So people always ask me safe zones. If you are, whatever you're meant to experience, you're going to experience. So I already know I'm going to be here with my great-great-grandchildren. I know my children will be safe. I already know. I saw my future. I saw the future. Many of us, actually, I saw it. It's beautiful. So if you are fearful, chances are you need to resolve something inside, because there shouldn't be any fear. It's actually excitement for some of us who know that the shift is upon us. If you're feeling exciting and it's happiness and you feel like you're ready to go there because it's exciting in a good way, that's chances are that's how your experience is going to be post-pole shift. People who have the most fear are going to be the people who experience the most disharmony during the pole shift. So, you know, I've already talked to people who already say they saw themselves dying. I've talked to people. I was like, you see that? You don't want to change that? They said they're good with it. And I'm not here to change their minds or change their conception of the perception of the reality. They already saw it. You know, we have seers in here. We got real life seers in here who saw their own death and transcending. They already saw it and they're good with it. So, you know, and when I talk to them, you know, whenever somebody has peace like that, you let it be. Because remember, this vessel is just a vessel for this moment. And when it's time, some of us choose to leave, you know, when we complete our mission, and some of you are going home. Some people are going home and they don't want to be here. So they're okay with the shift, doing whatever they need to do, required to do, and then they want to go home to their home planets or to their frequency. You know, some of them are not from 4D. They're not from 3D. Some of these beings are like from 7D, 8D. They want to go home. So I'm not here to convince them to stay here, even post-pole shift. That's still a physicality. Not everybody's from physicality in that way, or from this planet, or this timeline. I said the pole shift will occur literally within. Well, I see the speeding up of the process. We're a little further along than I thought. So I think 5 to 6 years. Before it was supposed to be seven years. This year was supposed to be 7 years. So 2027 is when I anticipated it. But everything's speeding up a little faster. I think these bastards are speeding it up. I think they're exasperating I think they're making everything happen by fracking and doing extra. So I think they're speeding up the process to make it happen quicker. But, you know, that's my personal perception. We'll see. And someone said to me the other day, what if there isn't a pole shift? Even better. But anything that I share with you isn't anything that you should need in your regular life. So whether you have a pole shift or not, you should be proactive in the things you need right now. You see the world is changing. You know, in 5 years, how many of you remember 5 years ago? Remember 5 years ago when we were just talking about stuff? Look how far we've come in 5 years. Many of you remember, look how far. We couldn't have even conceived the amount of things that are occurring right now 5 years ago. So could you imagine 5 years from now? Yeah, it's wild. It's like the Wild Wild West on this planet. So, you know, just be prepared for that. So I say 5 years, you know, but it will happen. According to what I know, it's going to happen. I've already prepped it, and I'm prepping my family for it. You know, it's one of the reasons I felt like maybe I had met Dr. Delbert Blair. And if you want to be grateful for what I represent to you, please thank Dr. Delbert Blair. He passed away, but that is the only reason that you see FleurBrun on in the way that you see me. That has to do with Dr. Delbert Blair. It really does. I could take no credit. I had a boyfriend at the time that was a friend of mine that was on YouTube, and it was cute and everything. But the way that I show up is totally because of that. You know, he really, he cultivated me. He gave me a sense of confidence. He assured me that my experiences weren't, weren't my imagination. It wasn't anything that because a lot of times in the UFO community, in the ET community, there are a lot of people who talk about dreams and imaginative experiences. All my experiences are tangible, physical. When you hear a lot of these people on these things, they're making a lot of stories up. Mine is actually real, physical, like talking to people, and I'm not on drugs. I'm sane. I'm a competent person. So he really helped me, and I can't ever repay that. I could never. He's passed away. He saved my life. He really did, my sanity. So I'm grateful to Dr. Delbert Blair for how he showed up for me. He really did. And he showed up for a lot of you. It's not just me. He showed up for a lot of us. Dr. Sebi, I'm grateful to Dr. Sebi for really showing us nutrition from a very holistic point of view. I mean, we had some amazing pioneers that assisted us with ushering us into this time. So I'm really grateful and I'm humbled. Dr. Jewel Prookman, who's still with us. She allowed me to see how metaphysical and mental affects the body. She did that. I knew, and German New Medicine is good with that too, but Jewel Prookman really took me to another layer and level, so I have to be grateful to Jewel Prookman for assisting that. Dolores Cannon, oh, thank you, Tabitha, I appreciate it. Safest places to be during PoleShift in states. What's your opinion on going to Ghana, Africa, shift request, preparing for the shift? Like I said, it's a lot for me to detail. The safest places are just the places that you deem to be safe. I gave you the pictures on Instagram of where all the volcanoes are in the position of that. I did a breakdown. It's hard for me to do that because we have to sit down. You see that on Patreon. It's all there, but everything is shipped. Everything is inverted. Okay, they're already setting shop up in Africa. Shinwa is all in Africa. They have 300 million people being shipped over into Africa. That is why they were killing off all of the... Now we know why eugenicists went over to Africa to kill them all off with AIDS. A geoengineered virus that they created. And now it came out, the guy admitted that AIDS was a geoengineered virus to kill off the people in Africa, to make room for for the people from the West and also from the East. They've already convinced it, for people to say, oh, it's a fact now. It's all come out. It's come out. So they were clearing up Africa for those from the East and also from the West to set up shop in the South Africa. That's why it's very important that they were sending out people that were colonizers that had lived there for so long. They've been kicking them out in parts of Africa because they know what they're doing. So that's why 300 million Shinwa are moving to Africa, and they've set up shop with their own embassies and everything. So that's only in South Africa. It's only going to be in the south, towards the side where Ghana's over there too. The South Africa is where is it? Benin, on that side of Benin, where Benin is. Because Benin's adjacent to South America, which is right across from Brazil. So you see Benin is here in Africa, and Brazil, you go straight across, Brazil is on the tip of Brazil is right there. So right across from there. Okay, so that's that. Between the tropics, okay, so let me give you a tangible thing. Between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn is where we're supposedly the safe. That's where the Nazis were told. So look that up, okay? The Nazis were given intel from the tall whites that came from the future. I've talked about this several times. It is between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn. That is why Nature Nut went there. Nobody knows that, but he personally, this is my opinion, he was being... Who's on my Instagram doing this? My Instagram is going batty. Somebody's been taking off my Instagram. Did somebody send me pictures? Somebody's taking off the messages. Something must have happened. Anyway, so between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn are the safest. The Germans set up shop all in Argentina, in Brazil, in South Africa, Colombia, parts of Colombia. That's why they're trying to take over Venezuela. So look at those areas. parts of Africa will be on the side where Brazil is adjacent to it. Okay, just look on the map. You'll find out what's safe. You're seeing where they're setting up shop. Okay, look on those. Look where all the volcanoes are. Okay, so you'd be surprised to see how they set up shop. They got the intel years ago. Why do you think all of the Nazis went into South America? It looks like Germany in parts of South America. If you go to Argentina, it looks like Germany. Parts of Argentina look like you're in the middle of Germany. You go to parts of the south of Brazil, it looks like Germany. Okay? So, you know, just, but Africa on that tip, on the beginning, on going up towards Benin, that's where it is. Asia's all, there's all volcanoes all in Chinois world. It's bonkers over there. I showed the map. Y'all can check out my Patreon page and see the things we discuss. So just know that. What else with the pole shift? Why is she going on the block? She knows it. Oh. What else? I think we touched everything. I think we did, right? So spiritually, just, you won't have to worry. This is what Dr. Doublebear taught me. All the prepping in the world is unnecessary, because if you're prepping, it's kind of like you're preparing for something bad. So when I talk about being prepping, I'm talking from a position of being comfortable. So if, in case of emergency, you have what's necessary and you can sustain yourself. Okay? Hoarding food, I'm not a fan of that. I always make jokes about me stockpiling my body. I like to eat, so it's my excuse. I'll be back down to some. I spike. I like to eat, so sometimes I get a little thicker and thinner. But, you know, I'm not a fan of people who hoard. Hoarding will also bring that kind of, because people who hoard will encounter people who steal. Hoarding and being self is a form of selfishness. So as much as you hoard food, stockpile things, you will be met with people who steal your things. Be careful, because that's that karmic balance. So hoarding will result in you getting people who take from you. Okay? Selfishness begets selfishness. So just be proactive. Know how to create your own food. You don't need to have stockpiles of food. You don't want to even have things like that. You want to live in a world where you know that you're going to have resources. By stockpiling food, you're already taking on the answer that you won't have enough. So you've already taken on the mindset that you won't have enough. Okay? By just having things prepared is like, that's just like having resourceful ways of creating, filtering water, growing plants. That's being proactive. That's saying that you're going to live in a world where you can actually plant beautiful seeds and you'll be able to grow amazing vegetables and fruit. So you take on that frequency. Okay, be mindful of doing things that will be in preparation of a darkness. Okay, focus on those wonderful things that are good. Like, I'm excited. I keep flower seeds and pods as much as I keep food and fruit and vegetables. So that, because I want beautiful flowers. PoleShift, I see a flowers all over. So I keep seeds of flowers too. So why would I only collect things that have to do with food? That's a selfish point of view. Why wouldn't I want to keep flowers that I love to see? I love impatiens, or tiger lilies, or I love begonias. You know what I mean? Keep those things that keep beauty in your life. So it isn't just about you eating and absorbing and taking from the earth. It's about you, making beauty, bringing beauty to the earth, bringing a beautiful, colorful aspects of the earth, bringing joy and beauty to the earth. Bring all seeds. All seeds matter. You know what I mean? We should have a hat that says all seeds matter. You know, stop being prejudiced against seeds and only saying food matters. Because that's a gluttonous, that's another hoarding point of frequency. You know, I want to be somewhere where it's beautiful flowers, beautiful, just amazing. And I saw the future is gorgeous. But for those who are sleeping zombies, they're gonna have what they haven't dealt with consciously. You know, all seeds matter. You know, it's almost seed season. You know, I obsess with my seeds. It's almost seed season. And big up to Candy. Candy brought me a whole bunch of seeds from Wisconsin. And I haven't even planted them. I'm saving those seeds. She brought them all the way from what's. Thank you, Candy. Candy, I hope you're feeling well. Yeah, but seeds matter. You know, I get obsessed. Like springtime is my time to get all my seeds. That's when I start becoming a Nazi. I start doing trading of seeds. I start looking for seeds to, I'm in that mode. I am no joke with my seeds. So, start collecting seeds of the beautiful things that you have. Okay? Think about that. So if you're in the room, please put a like on a video if you step in the room, if you've been here for a little bit, just as a general courtesy, I ask. What did you say? Okay. FleurBrun, do you have your coffee beans? Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do, Mama. Yes, I do. I have my coffee beans. I love drying coffee beans. My sister-in-law does that. I told you my sister-in-law is from Jamaica. She dries her coffee beans. Woo! Fine yard. What? You're mine. I love my coffee. What? She puts them and she dries them out for me. Oh, I love dried coffee beans. So I have them. I'm ready. And I have my my breadfruit seeds and also figs, because figs are big. Figs are good in nutrition. I think I have the figs. Yeah. Oh, oh my gosh. Let me stop talking about coffee. Because I told Jose I'm going to come to his house in New York. Looking at his window in the fire escape for some coffee. Like, Jose, let sister in, Jose. Why are you trying to stockpile all the coffee, Jose? Woo! Oh. And what else? And also for those, what was I saying? There was something else for the PoleShift too. Oh, something else I was supposed to tell you. There's something else that they're doing. So for those coming in the room also, just to let you know, there are 3 different cities in Chinois neck of the woods that they have closed down. That's just a denotion that they've already started their depopulation agenda. Just like there's a depopulation agenda here in the United States of America, they have a depopulation agenda in every city in every country. Australia is going to experience that. Europe is going to experience that. And right now, Chinois neck of the woods is experiencing their depopulation, dissemination of bioweaponry. So they're experiencing that now. So just know that that's part of their sweep. And all of the wealthier ones have already done their relocation. So the ones that are left behind are the ones that are considered to be stragglers and not important. It's the same for anyone else in any of the other places. If you've not known of relocation, if you've not done or had a hatch out plan, chances are you are on you don't get the lifeboat. It's like the Titanic. You didn't get the memo about the lifeboats on the other side of the ship. Okay, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be on a ship with a whole bunch. You don't want to be on a lifeboat with a whole bunch of draconians and low breed Satanists and Luciferians. They're nasty. They're nasty. And then for those, just a reminder that people are glitching out right now because the frequencies are so high, and we're going. The magnetic field is kind of getting less cohesive. Remember, we talked about that. Everything looks a little dreamy because with the slowing down of the magnetic field, the gravitational pull is a little different. It doesn't allow for our hologram to show up properly. So a lot of times it looks a little dreamy right now. But also for the biobots, people who have demonic possession, people who are synthetic, as they're glitching out. Anyone with demonic possession also who requires wine and spirits and also drugs, they are having a problem with tasting their fixes with alcohol and drugs isn't doing what it used to do. So they're starting to lose it. So if you see people glitching out, be careful. People who are suffering from, mental instability, you might either see one or the other. Some people with mental instability are sometimes they're shamans or gods. They have like that frequency that they're like super awake. They might just wake up like fully, like be awake beings. And then those who are really suffering from infestation of a lot of demonics inside of their bodies, because some people who suffer from psychoses, they have a lot of demonics in their body. That's why they have a fracturing, splintering of personalities. They might just end up, taking people out or taking themselves out. So we're in those times, family, and you're gonna see. You can witness this everywhere. People, listen. People are telling me and it doesn't matter what color you are, what complexion, what country. It's worldwide. It's a unified debauchery. It's unified. It's everywhere. So be mindful. If you have violent husbands, if you have people who are drinking your house, crackheads, whatever, you need to release them. And I don't say I didn't tell you so, because they're going to get worse. So if you have somebody who's vile in your house, or somebody who's a drinker or alcoholic, their behavior will be more reprehensible than before. Because as we get closer to the shift and the speeding up of the time, it feels like speeding up. It really isn't. It's just a speeding up. It's like a vibratory raising. Vibratory raising feels like you're speeding up. Okay, it's just a feeling that you feel if you aren't really there yet, solidified in that frequency. It'll feel like you're speeding up. We call it the quickening. So if you feel like you're in a quickening, that causes people to glitch out. Okay, watch the people around you. Be careful when you're out in public, especially Walmart. Got a lot of interesting people. Walmart, all the marts, all the demons are coming out, popping out. And the demons are going to be naturally exercised by the nature of us going higher into higher densities. They can't be in those bodies. So they will create havoc for that host. So that's why the host starts acting all kinds of out of sorts. So, just pay attention to that. Pay attention to the behavioral patterns, like when people can't give eye contact, when they start, the eyes start gitching out, like getting gitchy. What is it called? Gitchy? Like glitchy? Like the eyes start, like when they start doing stuff like that, walk away. Don't fight. It's not worth it. Don't fight. And energetically, because we're in the age of Aquarius, and also it's a new moon, big up to anyone, it's a new moon in Aquarius today. A lot of people are paying for the crimes against humanity. So a lot of people are going to pay karma. So for all those who are very superficial, they will be dealt with. Right now, you're going to see a lot of people who are very superficial be humbled. So if you know anyone who's really materialistic and they're very non-empathetic and non-sympathetic, they're going to pay right now. So you're going to see their lives shift. So you're going to see a lot of people be humbled right now. Within the next 6 months, I think 6 to 8 months, you're going to see a lot of very wealthy people, or people very materialistic. They don't have to be wealthy. They could be, non-wealthy and still be very materialistic and very shallow. All of them will be humbled, whether it's by sickness and ailments within themselves or their children or their families, or they will be humbled by losing the resources that they obsess with in order to make them grow spiritually. Okay? The hardest people to go up into the kingdom of heaven, right, what they say, are the wealthy. So you have to be humble. So if you're seeing that, just keep your distance, a healthy ascension, revelation to whatever's required for them, and keep it moving. Stay out of that. But if you have them in your house, you need to start to shed the extra out of your house, or you need to leave, because it isn't going to get better. It's going to get worse. And when demons are not getting fed like they're accustomed to, it's just like a child. You give a child sweets all the time, and then you try to tell them no. Woo! They will have tantrums. You won't be able to sleep. Give a child candy every day, and then tell them no. Tell them no. Say, no, you can't have any candy. They will flip out. You'll have an apocalypse in your house. It's the same with the demons. If the demons aren't being fed, or they're not getting their daily fix of their liquor because it's not feeling the same for them, it's not giving them what it used to, they're going to have tantrums of mass destruction. So if you got people in your house that are struggling from alcoholism, addiction to prescription drugs, and now everyone told me that crack is still in functionality, which I didn't even know crack was still out. You have anybody like that in your life, please. It means that you have to shed that. Something about that needs to be shed, resolved, and keep it moving. Because like I said, if anything, if the system goes down, those aren't beings you want to be anywhere near. People who are suffering from addiction, their withdrawal from things like crack, heroin, meth, they might hurt everybody in the house. Yeah, I'm just saying. And then you got swiper, no swiping. I don't know crackheads, they swipe. They steal everything, diapers, everything. They're swipers. You want somebody like that around your children, around your house, they'll sell you out to people outside. They'll sell you out. They'll sell your life out to get a fix on something to people who are bandits. Those are people you shouldn't even have around you. So check that. Check that quickly. Okay? So I hope this was helpful. I think that was a pretty good. I think I stayed. Did I stay on point today? I think I stayed on task today. I'm gonna try to be more focused when I discuss things, and good. I hope it was helpful. And just be, and also, what I should have told you also is to have, some. I always tell you to do this. Have card games. Have some spades. Have some parcheesi. Have shoots and ladders. Have Jenga. What else? Have chess games, checkers, Connect Four. These are things that you should look forward to when, in fact, these things happen. Coming back to ourselves, because I remember it was Teal Swan. Remember I told you about Teal Swan? She ain't there. But Teal Swan, I remember her saying in that video that I saw, she said, people are suffering from loneliness. Remember, I'm talking about, we're going into unity consciousness. It was interesting. I think she said it. Did she say it? Many of you know. I think that's what she said. People are suffering from loneliness. Loneliness is the problem of society. That is the number one systemic issue of society. Everyone's lonely. We're supposed to go back into unity consciousness. How are we going to get into unity consciousness if we keep separating ourselves, judging other people? It can't happen. You know how it happens? People come together in tragedies. You know this, right? When you saw New Yorkers are about their business. Remember during 9/11, what did you notice notable about the New Yorkers when that whole happened? You saw brown children, lunar children, Italians, Greeks, Jamaicans, Dutch. Everybody was hand in hand, checking for each other, walking with each other, making sure they got home, calling the children. You saw camaraderie like you hadn't ever seen in New York. And it's been like that ever since, to a certain degree. It brought everyone of every nationality, every complexion, every tongue together. Everyone. Tragedies bring people together. And it's unfortunate that this is what's going to happen in order to usher us into unity consciousness. But I guarantee you, family, when it's all said and done, there's one prediction that I have that I know will happen. We will be better, we'll be more united, and we will most certainly be better for it. So whatever brings us to that pinnacle point, let's usher that in. All right, family? So I love you. It's amazing. Have an amazing, beautiful, successful day on your new moon in Aquarius. Make sure you write your intentions during a new moon, whatever you desire to bring in. It's a great time to do transactions, anything Aquarius brings a lot of contractual agreements are good today. So bring it in, okay? Let's bring some beautiful, wonderful new revelations, new ideas to bring to fruition. All right, family? Again, I hope it was helpful. I think I'm doing I'm supposed to go out this evening with my mate. So we have a date, but I'm going to try to come on Aquarius Rising. I should be back early enough for my outing to do Aquarius Rising, okay? So if I am, I kind of do more of a follow-up maybe on this. All right, family? I love you. Have an amazing, masterful, successful day, and we shall chat. And please, if you didn't put a like on the video, just put a like on the video on your way out. I'd appreciate it. Okay, love you. Peace.